Hi, welcome to my class. This is still Maths with Victor. So we'll be starting a series on Jamb lessons for students that will be writing mathematics in Jamb. So if you know anyone preparing to offer mathematics in Jamb, kindly invite them to follow my Facebook page and to also subscribe to my YouTube channel. I guarantee they will learn a whole lot. You're welcome. So we'll be solving random Jamb problems in mathematics. And our first question is find the gradient of a line which is perpendicular to the line with the equation this. Of course, a line is given, and that line has this equation, and we have to find the gradient of another line that must be perpendicular to this line. So how do we do that? Let's talk about the condition for two lines to be perpendicular. If two lines are perpendicular, the condition must be that the product of their gradient must be -1. So if I have a first line with gradient m1, and I have the second line with gradient m2, if these two lines are perpendicular, the condition must be that m1 dot multiply m2 will give us -1. This is the condition for perpendicularity of two lines. There's another one called the parallelism of two lines. When two lines are parallel, in that case, their gradient must be the same. But that's not the point here. We are told that the two lines are perpendicular, not parallel. So if we get the gradient of the given line, we will get the gradient of the unknown line such that when we multiply the two gradients, the result must be a -1. So we'll start by looking for the gradient of the line that was given. So the biggest question now, how do we get the gradient of this given line? Of course, whenever a line is given by the equation, to get the gradient, you will express the equation in the gradient intercept form. This is the general form of the equation of a line in the gradient intercept form. Now, in this general form, the y and the x are the variable points, any points on that straight line. Then the m represents the gradient, and then the c represents the intercept on the y-axis. So what we do is to rewrite this equation in such a way that we make y the subject of the formula. And when we do that, we compare whatever we have to this so that we know the value of the gradient m. So let's start by the equation 3x plus 2y plus 1 equal to 0. How do I make y subject? So the first thing I do, 2y remain where it is. So 3x will cross an equal sign. We change to minus 3x. Of course, we know that before now. And then 1, we move over, it will change to -1. Of course, y is not yet the subject. So the subject will divide both sides by the coefficient of y, which is 2. And when I do that, y will become minus 3x over 2, then minus 1 over 2, dividing both sides by 2. So this has been written in the gradient intercept form, so we can compare these two equations. So if we compare, you realize that our m is the same thing as minus 3 over 2 because that's the coefficient of x, which is the gradient. Then our c, which is the y-intercept, is the same as minus 1 over 2. But we are not interested in the y-intercept. Our interest is the gradient of the line. So the gradient of this line, which is m, is minus 3 over 2. But of course, we are not asked the gradient of this line easily because we could easily choose minus 3 over 2, but that's not the question. The question is the gradient of a line that must be perpendicular to this line. So for this particular line, the gradient is minus 3 over 2. For the line we are looking for that is perpendicular to this line, how do we get the gradient? Remember the condition I said. The product of the two gradients must be 1, -1. So if the product must be -1, of course you know that 1 is the identity for multiplication. Yeah, that's 1. Because when you multiply 1 and any number, the number remains the same. So we call that the identity for multiplication. So which number do I multiply to this to have a -1? This is already a negative number. So that number must be a positive number. We start from there. So the gradient we are looking for must be a positive number. If this was a positive number, that gradient must be negative because we are looking for a number we multiply to have a -1. And you know, to have a negative number, you must multiply a positive and a negative, or a negative and a positive. Is that right? Yeah, that's correct. So that gradient must be a positive number. So what do I multiply to 3 over 2 to have 1? You talk about the inverse of 3 over 2. And the inverse of 3 over 2 is 2 over 3. The inverse of 3 over 2 is 2 over 3. So this is the gradient of the line that is perpendicular to the given line. So we can easily check if we are right or wrong. So multiply these two gradients, minus 3 over 2 times 2 over 3. Of course, you can see that 2 will divide 2, 3 will divide 3. So we are left with minus 1. So this is the gradient of the given line. Then this is the gradient of the second line that will satisfy that condition for perpendicularity, that the product of the gradient must be a negative one. So the answer we are looking for is 2 over 3. That's option B. That is the condition, and that is the gradient of that line. You're welcome. Please kindly like, follow, and share my videos to all your friends, and invite students preparing for Jamb. I want them to succeed. You can help them succeed by inviting them to follow my page. Bye.